I tolerate no treachery. None. This is my realm. I will not be silenced. Of course you can hear me. I am all present. Now come, one and all, and gather as we dive back into the world of Atrum and plumb the depths of her lore for the riches of insight and narrative. Just like I shall not be silenced, neither will the rich story that we tell. All right, let's go ahead and jump back into a call. We're going to have, yeah. I have a very noisy comment section here. Let's jump into the group call where we'll continue where we left off. Very noisy. All right. Do a knock knock. That was a million years ago. I'm asking, shall I do a new one? All right. Okay. Yep, that works. Easy peasy. Enable share chat. Okay, got it. Share chat is on. Okay. Hello, Evo. Today we're going to be doing some non-gameplay things. We're going to be going into some awesome lore for a world building project that I have with Requies here. That is a fantastic little emote. Okay, wreck. Do you want Requies? We can go with Requies. I'm locking in Requies. Requies locked in. Pretty sure Requies is locked in. You could do like a Hispanic X. Heno. Oh no. The X's are undeniable. They're everywhere. They're in all of my branding. All right, I need to get some shit set up. I am woefully unprepared. He's coming. Let's see. We're gonna do this guy. Correct, I should. Discord. I think, oh, at some point all of my
What?
At some point all of my audio drivers got fucked up. So I'm anywhere that I have an audio driver, I have to like reassign it. Can
You heard it here first, folks. Xeno's audio drivers unionized.
Great. Chaos, is the music going?
We heard music, yeah.
Okay, bet. All right, so I see the little dancing equalizer. So Discord should be coming through now.
Mic check 1 2. What's up, Xeno's chat? So
Yep.
I was talking to Evo, and they didn't even hear me. And this
No.
is your fault.
You missed nothing
This is
of
your
value.
fault.
You're good.
No.
I'm hurt. I got feelings, and you hurt damn near every one of them. This Eldritch Eyeball, it'll come for you, yo. Damn, that was almost a bar. Hold up, let me write that down.
Chaos does not hear music. Are you lying to me?
There was music earlier.
There was music earlier. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the only thing we heard as your eyeball creepily pulsed at me.
Good. As it should. It thrummed with annoyance.
Oh, God, let's not go there.
He could be boosted, though. He's quite low compared to your levels. That sounds like Discord needs to go up. Up. Discord.
I hope I'm good. I have nobody looking out for me.
Nope.
Hint.
Nope. None. Nobody.
Chaos just said, fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah, dude, he fucking quit. He got mad because I was farther than him in Avowed, and he bailed.
Alright.
I swear, you can't force good labor these days.
Oh, that seems loud. That's peaking a little bit.
I'm peeking a little bit.
Great.
We're on
Evo, thank you
microdose,
for the
right?
sub. I appreciate it.
That's what's up.
And now you have the dancing emote. Amazing.
Wait, does that mean I have that emote? I am
Yes.
also of the cool. Yes. I linked out for you earlier. That's true, Chaos, but I need your help again.
All right, Chaos. How's the Discord audio now? Hopefully a little better. His levels are better now. Cool. I did a little more adjusting, so I'm gonna wait to see if there's a. Oh no, wait! It all fell off again. But
What?
we should be good there.
Okay.
Let me make sure that I can get an image on screen, since last time that came in really helpful.
An image on screen? What do you mean?
Yeah. Remember how I had a supplementary picture? Yeah, there's one. Cool.
Yeah, just open up motherfuckers on screen and drag the window over or something.
I got it. Cool.
Oh.
Cool.
Oh, cool. That's like a static version of what I have going on my stream. Cough, flex, cough.
Well, perhaps, but I'm going to be focusing more on the animation that I'm doing here.
Still don't hear music, Chaos? What the fuck?
I heard
Chaos
Oh,
might
there
be
it
deaf.
is. It's in the background. Easily missed. Okay.
Yeah.
Me.
All right. So now that we've got all of this troubleshooted and we're good to go,
Yep.
20 minutes in, we're professionals. How do we kick this ball?
Oh, I think I figured out why.
Okay, maybe we're not done fucking troubleshooting yet. My bad. Goddamn eyeball.
Shut up.
taken forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
It was the fucking audio driver channel issue again. Chaos,
He
let me know
said-
if Discord has died out of nowhere.
It's because he hates us.
Yep, Chaos is used to your concert mixing.
I mean, I don't have a rock concert for the lorecasts, but that's totally fair. I do often, actually, not so much anymore because I don't have any music going when I play a story game.
You're a story game.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay. All right. So, where did we leave off? Well, last time we left off kind of scatterbrained. So, where are we going to be starting this time? I understand that you have some notes charmed.
Charmed.
Yeah.
You
Sorry.
past tensed her name.
Yeah.
So
I f-
I have notes of the last run that we did, the last stream that we did. They're not notes as in like, oh, these are questions I'm gonna ask, because Rec mentioned wanting to follow the album since that kind of follows the lore storyline.
Mhm.
Thank you, Chaos. I appreciate you so much. Um,
No, Chaos, that's wrong, actually. I did introduce her.
I don't remember this.
Um, that's fair. I did it muted. I introduced her to my stream, and then I hopped into Discord with her.
Oh, all right. Let me introduce her to everyone then.
But
This is Charm. She's gonna be moderating. I'm
mediating.
teasing. She's gonna be the referee to determine who wins our arguments.
Oh, bro, I'm gonna win every argument now. I slipped her a tenner.
I'm gonna
before
win
this
the
conversation.
lorecast.
I don't know. I might just do it to piss you off, babe.
That's not cool.
That'll.
I don't like anything about that.
Yeah.
If I
Toko.
can't scuba, what has all of this been about?
So, go ahead.
So I was figuring if we start with the first album, kind of go through that storyline, how it started. You guys will obviously go out on tangents, so we'll get more than just what's in the first album.
Tangents? No way.
And then move on from there to the next ones. Do you only want to go up to what is out and published right now? So that we're not talking about music and albums that aren't out yet? Or do you want to do that as a like, hey, this is what's coming up next also?
I'm not to just talk about everything, honestly.
I mean, I'm
because that will also lead to if we get ahead of what's released, that will lead to moments where people who listen to the Lorecast will hear those albums and just have their own Leo DiCaprio moment, snapping at the TV.
That's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm just worried that there won't be anything to follow up with. Like if you want to find out more about, I believe his name is Matthias.
Oh,
Matthias.
yeah.
You can't just jump over to the Mortem album yet.
Well,
I mean, you absolutely can in 4 days.
All right, never mind then. So for all the people watching this on YouTube, you're good.
Yeah, that's out March 1st, 2025. You're welcome, y'all.
For Z, I should ask this before referencing it. I have so many questions about the short story. Should I avoid asking those questions on stream since your short story is, I'm guessing you're not going to be publishing it anytime soon?
So the only things that I'm looking to change for it are like grammatical. It's all technical stuff. So none of the stories is intending to change. So you're welcome to ask about that as well.
Okay. Cool. So
YouTube. Thanks, Gail.
So then start with the first album. What does that encompass? What does that talk about? I know we mentioned this a little bit in the last stream. But really go through the story, and like that first album was what, at least for me, caused all of this streaming to happen, because I was like, this is bringing up so many questions. These lyrics mean words that have a story, and the story is not here, and I want it. So what's the story? What is being talked about and said in it?
I mean, all of the first album, Genesis, is it encapsulates the first age on Atrum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the second age is the Imperium. Yeah. So all of Genesis encapsulates the first age, and defines the second age with its last track, Manifest Legacy. What's up?
No,
Oh,
nothing.
got you. Cool. So it starts with establishing background setting, like talking about the cradle and trying to give a an image of the cradle through an artistic lens.
Okay. Um,
That's probably a vague answer.
I was trying to figure out how to.
Yeah, yeah. How do we narrow the scope of that?
So like,
I mean, I guess we could start with, because we talked a bit about the cradle last time.
yeah.
Do you have any questions or any things about the cradle that you wanted to loop back around to? Um,
Um, Not currently. I'm actually going back up in our chat to see where you dropped the lyrics for me, because
I can
that
actually.
would help.
Yeah. I got you.
Oh, I have it. I already found it.
Okay, amazing. I should put that somewhere that other people can easily access
Yeah,
it,
I thought those
because it
were
doesn't
embedded
look,
into
it doesn't,
Spotify.
it's supposed to be, but it doesn't look like it's being pushed from the distro label to Spotify. I'll look into that. I'll open up a ticket or some shit.
hmm hmm
Because yeah, it should be. That's one of the
Okay.
things.
So, so I do have a question. The
Yeah,
architect who you talked about last time is Rockwest?
Rockwest. Yeah.
Rockwest. Okay. Um, the seer is oh god, it starts with a
Tavinia,
T. Tavinia.
Yeah. Yep.
And the warrior is
Pyrian.
uh
Hyrion. Yep.
Hyrion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then the advisor is Matthias.
Okay. Um Sorry, I'm just
Um,
reading through the lyrics right now.
no worries.
It's not like I haven't read
Um,
them multiple times. I just brain doesn't work.
Well, so
no, that's fair.
the Genesis album having taken place in, I think, basically covering the entirety of the first age. It's pretty chronological.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You
it
start
kind
off
of
in the
steps
cradle.
through it.
Mhm. You start off in the cradle with Light Eternal and Shadow Unbound, where you get to the point that forces not just uh, the three that will eventually become avatars, but
Mm-hmm.
the people of the cradle to find a way to get out, which leads to the turning the keys and blind eternity. And then the rest of the album
How
is
do you
just
jump
flowing.
over Defiance, dude? First they rise up and fight back. How do you pass up Defiance? You of all
I'm
people.
trying. Well, I'm
Shame,
trying
shame,
to
shame.
summarize.
What do you mean by that? Pass up defiance.
Defiance is the
Um,
third song, and
it's
I
the
didn't
it's
mention it
the
because I
third
jumped
song.
from Shadows Unbound to Turning the Keys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So what is defiance about? Is that like the decision to not just die due to the dark? Is that like was there an actual
yeah.
try to fight
The whole
against the
anthem
dark?
through Defiance is just no. Um, it's like the dark has come. There's nothing that can be done about it, and yet still they say no.
Okay. So there
And
was from the beginning there was nothing they could do to fight it.
no, no. That's they had no tools to fight it. They were
Okay.
completely unprepared. It was foreign to anything that they had ever come across in creation, because it's not part of creation.
Okay. Interesting. It's not part of creation. Wait, what? It's not part of like the world they know?
It's no, it's not a part of a world. An it's an nth dimensional eldritch entity that's like kind of unknowable.
It's not a
Um
part of the universe that they as they had observed it. Um,
Yeah.
it's as far as the narrative's concerned, an alien invasion that they just couldn't, fight against. Now
Right.
it's much
I
more.
hate using the term alien invasion in this setting, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Um,
It's definitely much more than that, but narrative, like
personified entropy, yeah, almost.
as we use it in the narrative, it's not really explored at that point because of the fact that everyone's just scrambling to try to live and not die to it. Then because so they do not have the luxury of trying to understand it. So you don't get a whole lot of what the dark is in Genesis. You just get its impact on humanity and the scars that it leaves in their culture. I keep
Right.
grabbing this
Uh,
Okay.
timeline.
there is an album that will be coming out at the end of March called Inevitable that explores the what's the fucking word I'm looking for? The nature of the dark, and gives potential windows into um, like what it is or how it behaves, at least in our observable universe.
Yep.
That's what your music video was promoting, right?
Yeah, I Arafel. Yep,
Mm.
because the dark it Arafel is the clinical term for the dark,
Yeah.
like as an organism, an entity.
That is correct, Chaos. That is absolutely correct. Its true name is written in the scars of its survivors.
What is that a quote for? That's fucking baller.
Yeah, that's not a quote. That is a fact.
Side note, love your mug. That's great.
Thank you.
Uh, gosh, okay. So Cradle's destroyed by the dark.
Mhm.
They're in this new world. Um, at what point in the timeline does the first album end? Is it they're just starting to find out how to live on this world? They're just getting there type of thing?
No, they're starting to make the world their bitch, for lack of better terms. So the first album ends at the defining of the second age. So and over the course of the first age, humanity and the avatars, um, just get hit by brick wall after brick wall of challenges tossed at them from Atrum. Um, Plague, fire, famine, enormous like leviathan megafauna,
Hmm.
um the swarm, and
Okay.
then they go north into the frozen tundra, which is the first time that they're able to actually breathe. um and from there, Pyrion and Rockquest go back to Arcanus, where Pyrion fights against everything that was moving into Arcanus and takes it back, and then goes back to Angelus, and that defines the beginning of the second age. I'm jumping way ahead, and we can walk back through it. So I've given a rough outline of things, so we can walk back through it. But yeah, that answers the question of when
Okay.
that album ends. So the entire first age is that album, and that's the genesis for the next few thousand years to come.
Okay. Um, and then when you say that like he goes, God, I'm horrible with names and I'm not gonna remember any of these. He goes back to the original city that they teleported. That was him going
Arcanist,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, Arcanist. That was him going back to try to pick up technology and lost stuff that they weren't able to bring with them when they went to Angelus, right?
No, it was
No?
a lot deeper than that. So Arcanus, is the city's name, and it is their like I refer to it as an arc. Um, and that has a couple layers to it because arc is the like magical energy that they used on the cradle. It's like a magical stand-in for electricity or power.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And the engine that the city used to translocate was called the arc engine. Um, and then the city itself is referred to as an arc because they used it to travel from one world to another, bringing that small bit of their world with them. But um, that city itself is important to humanity. It is the last vestige of the cradle and their previous might and knowledge. So taking it back isn't just a pragmatic choice. It's not just there is knowledge there and tools that we can reacquire and try to build back up from. It's also that is a symbol of our legacy. And to leave it in ruin or to leave it to be reclaimed by this world is not doing us right.
Okay. And they had to leave due to Leviathans, correct? If I remember from the last stream.
Yes.
That was the last straw. Yeah, yeah. They went through when they first landed. They went through drought and famine, followed by um, flooding and plague and swarm, and they fought all of that off. Oh, and a fire in the beginning. Fought all of that off, only to have Godzillas come and attack them.
Correct.
Okay. And that was the last straw. So they went through um
A series of unfortunate events. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
How
Lemony
did that
Snickets was taking notes.
how did that affect the this is more a question for Z. How did that affect the culture in Angeles? Having to leave behind everything that means so much to them because it just was too hard to live in, and then go make a new life in a new world, not world, but new city in Angeles that had to have affected the culture. Have you explored that at all?
It was incredibly it was incredibly difficult. And that is seen most prominently in the character Pyrion because he carries the weight of that disappointment as a personal failure. Because that was their home, and no one asked him to, but he put himself in a position of responsibility where, because he was part of the people who moved the arc to Atrum, he felt personally responsible for the future of everybody who was saved. And so having to leave effectively the whole world behind, the last bits of the world that they had, to maybe survive on a mountaintop somewhere, was effectively like saying that there was failure. It was not abject failure, but it was failure to preserve even the last little bit of their world that they'd managed to keep. And that catalyzes into something um a little bit more robust, that becomes a need to protect humanity, um
Mm-hmm.
as the last bit of surviving memory of the cradle, which leads him to even greater ambitions, in both trying to retake the ark and in trying to make Atrum a hospitable place for humanity to not just survive but thrive in. Because if there's one thing left of the cradle, it's humanity, and as long as humanity exists and continues to live and fight on, then he has not personally failed them. And so his entire life at that point becomes doing everything in his power to ensure that humanity has the tools that they need to survive, so that he can try to find forgiveness, or so he can try to give himself forgiveness for having failed previously.
Okay. So that
And
is really good to know, but I was more referring to like there's a religion that worships Hyrion. Does
much later,
that
much later.
well, yes, but does that show up in the religion? His need to help and heal and fix humanity, is that shown in the religion? Is that shown in they dealt with famine in the Ark and stuff like that? Is that shown in Angelus? Because cultures that deal with famine tend to pick up like the Irish are known for loving potatoes, and it's because they went through the potato famine.
Right.
Even though that's such a big thing still now, the Irish don't actually have a ton of meals that are solely based around potatoes. It's just such a huge cultural thing because it's what saved them and then ultimately caused Ireland to have a lot of issues because they had a potato famine.
Right.
Are there things like that in Angeles due to them being the ones that moved from Ark from dealing with these swarms and um what are they called? The big dudes.
The Godzillas?
Um
Leviathan,
Yeah, the
yeah,
Leviathan.
Leviathans.
Leviathans dealing with famine. Like, have you explored how those big things might affect the day-to-day culture of the citizens of Angeles?
Yes, but it's much more reflected in the arcanist that is established on the reclaimed arc. So in Angelus, a lot of it is just survival. Their diet changes to foraging. Uh, Rec, are you
I
on
think
Be
my
Right Back?
stream
Or
just died.
yeah, I think your stream just ended.
The app just went down for no
Oh,
reason. Give me one moment.
Yep. Do you want me to continue or pause while you get your stuff back up?
Yeah, just give me one moment.
Okay.
Pause for a moment.
okay. This is exactly why I keep both of y'all streams up.
Okay, I should be good now. Don't know what
uh,
happened there.
yep, you are.
That'll make for an interesting cut in the YouTube.
You're back up now.
Oh.
So, Angelus during the first stage is a little underdeveloped, just because of the scarcity of resources in the mountainous areas surrounding there. There's enough trees and wood to be able to build basic fortifications and keep yourself warm. And there's enough brush and wildlife to be able to feed a a smaller population, but as those resources start to thin, that is the impetus that causes Pyrion to want to return to the Ark to reclaim it, because there are resources there that could help. Um, and once all of that, like later on down the line, once they've managed to establish those lines of resources where they can start bringing so I jumped forward a little bit. Once the ark is reclaimed and the leviathans are defeated, the whole area surrounding the ark becomes farmland. All of the forests around the area are used for their trees, and these resources are funneled back up to what was still effectively a struggling Angelus. So their culture is very, very wildlife and survival, up until the point where they start having the luxury of these resources coming from what eventually becomes the Arcanus. Um, and Arcanus itself being built on top of the city Arcanus, the last remnants of the cradle. They have a very deep history with their relationship to um those struggles that you mentioned, the
Mm.
the famines and the droughts and all of that. That uh, and that is represented in their dining. So one of the things that is prominent around Arcanus is because the a lot of Arcanus is very ecclesiarchal.
Mm-hmm.
The whole city is effectively run by the major religion of the world. So the whole thing is already steeped in religion and ritual, but they're also, because they're effectively the food basket of the empire, they're also flush with resources as far as food goes. So a lot
You
of their food,
cannot stay in a single time period.
huh?
As you were talking about that, you jumped forward to the ecclesiarchy
Well, that's
and started to
because
discuss
that's when it's the
like
most relevant. The answer to to her question is the most relevant. Like, yes, that is present. Like there's a lot of ritual in the food in Arcanus because of the fact that they are they are so bountiful with it. But that's not more present until that culture gets to develop on its own.
got you. Okay.
Because in Angelus, once they have the resources to be able to not be so desperate to hunt and to explore for any amount of wood or resource, their culture develops more towards the survival and isolationist attitudes that had kept them alive up until the end of the first age. So you don't see a lot of ritual or preference around food because they mostly had whatever grains they managed to scavenge, whatever berries they managed to make use of, and whatever meat they managed to catch. But once you get the bounty of the Arcanus region involved, then you get a lot more opportunity for luxury, and that's when you really see it start to flourish. That's when you see weird dessert ceremonies happening, and that's when you start to see a lot of waste in food, where only the most pristine part or a very choice part of the ingredient is taken and the rest discarded. And that's as a direct result of the fact that Arcanus had started from a place of desperation and starvation. And when they reclaimed it, this excess and waste is a testament to the flourishing and success of humanity. It's a reflection of that.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So, I know we my question caused us to jump in time a little bit, but to go back.
Mm-hmm.
So First Age ends with the end of the first album.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
What's next? Like what causes it to be the second age? What
Okay.
denotes that?
So, um, first off, I'd like to touch on one if I can add an addendum to what Sarah Z was saying um with the culture of Angelus in regards to like response to things like that.
Hmm.
Um there was a large cultural schism that occurred um in regards to the decision to go back to the Ark because Tivinia was adamantly and publicly opposed to Pyrion's decision.
True.
Oh, okay.
Very true.
Yeah. So where Pyrion um was like galvanized by his guilt, Tivinia
Hmm.
was almost paralyzed, or at least that's how she's remembered.
Okay.
Um because she was unwilling to risk any further human life. Her response was every amount of human life left is uh like sacrosanct. It to risk it for anything is heresy because nothing equates to the value of a single life because there's so few.
Is this how Tavinia becomes known for healing and things like that in life is
Uh,
from that mindset.
that and Tavinia explores the school of apothecary, which
Ah,
like leads to like tinctures, mutagens, potions, things like that.
Hmm.
Um, and also Tavinia founds what later ages becomes the Priory, which is like a medicinal order um, that kind of operates as hospital. Not the
okay.
location acts as hospital, but they have seated themselves throughout the Imperium, and they act as healers and local apothecaries and the like.
Okay. Hmm.
But yeah, so there's a lot that happens that leads to her being equated to that, but it's kind of all on brand.
Okay. So then I guess I should ask before moving to the second age, is there any big political or cultural thing past just the famine and the drought and the leviathans, past all the physical? Is there any like political stuff going on that should be known about
Yeah,
that
there. I
happens in the
mean,
first age?
so um, Pyre and Tev both kind of become heads of their own unspoken like political parties. Um, and then you've got other people that like toss in a little bit with each side or don't give a fuck either way. But majority of the like surviving Angelians toss their lot either in with Pyre or with Tavinia. When Pyre goes to retake Arcanus, um, he leaves with not just a large portion of those who politically threw their hat into his ring, but also with a large contingent of the uh, what's like artificers, smiths, um, creators. What's the best
Artisans.
word for that, Z? Yeah, artisans. There we go. Thank you. With a large chunk of the artisans, because at that point those schools were following the lead of um, Rock and Pyre, who were then exploring magic as a science, uh, like the manipulation of breath.
Okay. Um, hmm. Sorry, I'm thinking. Uh, so
Um,
say
let's see what
artists
else.
playing around with breath. Uh, is that part of the reason why the artisans went with um Perion? Because going back to the original city would give them the chance to look at old technology and stuff and see about um like
Reclaim skill sets and things like that.
yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was
okay.
I mean it was a scientific reclamation, while also jerry rigging um archaic breath contraptions to technology for like one time uses
Yep.
because it would burn it all out.
Okay.
There are artifacts from like there are cradilic or like art the period of the cradle artifacts that could work but only once, and a lot of those get expended in this crusade, I guess is a good word for it, against the Leviathan that
Yeah.
Pyron does, because it's like it's not really a crusade. It's more of a purge once he gets
Yeah,
the
it's like an
weapons secured.
it's like an
Yeah,
extermination.
yeah. Dude just goes through the continent and sweeps up monsters.
How does he manage to do that? Like what allows
Um,
him to do that?
Rock Rock managed to um standardize a process for like the single use of a lot of credilic weaponry
Hmm.
that was present in the arc, and so like lances that could fire pillars of plasma and shit like that. Um, and these things couldn't be replicated within the physical laws of Atrum, but they could be burnt out and used in this extermination.
There was also the modification of existing conventional weapons like swords and spears and stuff.
Oh yeah, with breath stuff. Yeah,
Hmm.
rune. That was early rune casts.
Yep.
Wait, but if the cradle was a place of like knowledge and stuff, why were there and like a utopia, why were there weapons? Or were they things that weren't originally weapons that they were able to change into weapons?
The second one.
No.
Okay.
Largely the second one.
Uh, but kind of no, because
I mean, there was whatever weapons
the
were
arc is
left
where they
over.
made their stand
Yeah,
against the dark, and they were throwing everything in the kitchen sink at it. So
that's true.
they just had tools of potential destruction to try to take out the dark.
Okay. So they did try to fight the dark originally, and then we're like, oh fuck, this isn't gonna do anything.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
In fact, Defiance is them actively fighting the dark.
yeah.
Um.
Okay.
It did nothing,
Yeah.
but they tried.
Okay. So the big thing that happens in the first stage is that Pyrrhion and Rockweus um go back, take the old city. Tavinia was not for it, stayed in Angelus. Um, and then Second Age comes up. Is that the only like big serious political thing that happened?
No. So the magical sciences have progressed in this age to a rudimentary point, or at least of for rudimentary like use.
Hmm.
Um, the Arcs gates from Arcanus to Angelus are opened using um
The Arc Skates?
yeah. They're um these pads that allow instantaneous like transportation from one point to another.
Yeah. They're devices that create portals effectively,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
or teleporting
yeah,
pads.
yeah. Not a portal because nothing, no hole opens up. Um, but it's built on the same principles that got them to Atrum in the first place.
Hmm.
Okay. And is that possible because of their new like this new world having such an influx
Yep.
of magic?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So now they
And
have
at this point, they are only capable of having those two arc skates, because
why?
they used a device called a, what did we land on?
Uh, what for
An
the
arc
machine?
lattice. An arc lattice.
Yeah, the arc lattice.
Yeah.
That's
So
less of a device and more of a material.
A material?
yeah,
Is that found in the cradle or is that
no,
found on this world?
it was created in the cradle. It was synthesized in the cradle.
Hmm.
It is kind of a miracle rock. Um, it it just bleeds energy. It's our reactor. It's our hand wavy reactor. Um, and they are not capable of synthesizing something like that now.
Okay.
But they got that from the arc engine that was in Arcanus.
Chaos
Yep.
says magic carbon nanotubes.
Yep. Magic
Magic
carbon
code.
nanotubes.
Oh my god.
Um, Okay.
So it's actually through those gates that Pyrion comes back to Angelus after the extermination of the Leviathan is successful. So Pyrion and Rockwes and a lot of Arcanian, like the people who were in Arcanus, taking it back,
Mhm.
walk through the gate and just appear in Angelus. After Rockwes had sent um, like engineers ahead in advance to lay out the pad in Angelus. So they
Mhm.
fired it on and stepped through to like big fanfare, and that's when Pyrion declares the moot, which is just a large public meeting and kind of diplomatic proceedings that establishes their political system and everything else.
Right. It's their creation of the Declaration of Independence.
Well, I mean, more the creation of the Federalist Papers.
Okay, but one's a little more publicly known. Not everyone's seen Hamilton because that's all I know it from.
Are you serious? Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
American education system failing me.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah,
Damn right.
right?
I was busy drawing in class.
Magic
I
Power
was
Rock.
like,
Is there radiation? So glad you asked that question. So
okay,
very glad.
thank you, Coco.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. And it sucks.
it,
That
how
he's
does
he's
that
asking about
affect
Arc
things?
Gladys. Oh, we need to recombine. Let
Do
me
we?
make sure.
I'm still in the thing.
Weird.
Yeah, he's still got the magic.
Maybe I need to do something.
What do you mean?
Oh, start sharing chat. My bad. There we go. Chat wasn't being shared. That was all. That's all me. Now we're
Okay.
good. All right. So the arc lattice, is there radiation? No.
Okay, but
No.
now I'm curious
That is
about
that
this
is an
radiation that you got
incredibly
excited about
that's an incredibly
Yeah, yeah,
anticlimactic answer
yeah,
after
yeah.
after you getting super excited. Okay, so what's this radiation?
It's because the arc lattice is
made of spoilers.
not quite the same tier as the cosmic lattice, and I know the cosmic lattice doesn't like bleed off radiation that's harmful, but I think the potentium might, or the potentia might. What do you think, Zay?
I think that this is like reading the first page of Dune all over again, and everyone's just being
Oh
assaulted
God.
with words.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I'm just word
yeah.
swooping at people.
So
My bad.
it does, but not in a way that's relevant to the narrative in any capacity, nor is it harmful. It's not like
We'll say those ones don't asterisk. This is important for later.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what causes radiation? What got you excited?
Well, so breath in general, super, super harmful to the human cells. Like
I
they
mean
break down
that you can go
after.
into, but that's not related
Yeah.
to
That's
Arcladis.
that's second that's second age shit. Um
Okay.
and it's not related to arc lattice, but there is a power stone that they use as like Kmart arc lattice later on that has maybe this problem. Asterisk.
Kmart or Gladys?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Kmart is an ancient
Don't
chain of
even.
stores.
Mm-mm.
Yes, I'm
Um
aware of what Kmart is. Thank you very
I'm
much.
explaining to our audience. I see
Are
you.
you?
I see you, Jenna. I see you.
I was about
Uh
to say, are you assuming our audience are little kids?
I prefer
it's
Rite Aid.
YouTube.
Rite Aid had ice cream.
He's not wrong.
That's fair. It won't cook those standing next to it, but it might be a psychic beacon. Okay. Okay. That's not in that's not wrong, but it's not right. It's less of a psychic beacon and more of a quantum thread.
Oh, quantum threat.
Quantum thread, like string.
Yeah, I need. Okay, I don't know
Um,
anything about quantum whatever the hell's. So what do you mean by quantum thread?
safe Z. Is it safe?
What he's alluding to is that while it might not be like a big beacon that stuff can see, there is a tangible uh, through line that that stuff can potentially follow, and we want to be able to explore the details of that in other parts of the narrative.
Okay.
So we're not going to go too deep into the details. So it's not a big it's not a big beacon that attracts moths, but it does smell real good.
It does smell real good. Okay.
Yeah,
And that's important for Veilfall, which I think we'll just use as our Veilfall is a thing. We can't tell you what happens in Veilfall.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what's next? What's the next big thing that happens after they get the
After the
artifact?
moot.
Yeah, after the
Oh.
mute, whatever that thing is.
Um. Um.
It's when the ants get together.
When the what get together?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, this motherfucker. Because Tolkien wrote about an int moot, and it was just a gathering of ints talking.
Yeah.
My God.
It's
Okay.
because the word is there. This piece of shit.
Broken clocks, chaos. Broken clocks.
Oh my god, random spec. Yeah, that's fair. Um. So what's the most important thing that happens? Okay, so we reclaim Arcanus. Um. Pyrion slays dragons. That's an important note for him.
It's a very important
The
note.
the Leviathans
Um.
are dragons? Question mark?
Well. So what had happened was.
I'm imagining like humongous woolly mammoths. Am I supposed to be
Oh
imagining
no!
dragons?
No! 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 No!
They're all sorts of big,
There are
scary
all
monster
kinds of
things.
things
Yeah.
like Cloverfield monsters.
They are dragons in the here there be dragons
Oh,
sense.
oh, oh! Show a sandworm. Pull up sandworm. You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
show
yeah.
pictures. Show sandworm.
You can show pictures. Do the thing. All right. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Poke, poke, poke.
Okay. Give me a sec.
While
Godzilla.
while he's pulling this up, I want to note
Mhm.
to everyone listening that his little eyeball thing, if I remember correctly from talking to Yuzi,
Mm-hmm.
uh is mentioned in his short story. And now
Yeah.
every single time I see your stream, that's all I can think of is the short story. That's it.
That's okay. This was after you had left, but I draw all of the visual inspiration for my branding and the characters that I'm going to be developing specifically from the choir in
Oh,
Atrium.
okay. Of course, it's after I left. Okay.
You and everybody who missed it should definitely go watch it. Rec
Yeah,
put together
see,
an awesome video.
the
Thanks,
thing
bud.
is, I have watched that YouTube video 3 times now. And I get to about where I leave, and something happens to like take my attention away, and I
You've
don't
Pavloved yourself
actually.
into leaving at that
I
time.
got the important parts. I got the bits that matter.
There's still like an hour and 40 minutes after I leave to that video,
There's your
and
sandworm.
I'm just like,
Where's I don't see the sandworm yet.
You
Oh,
will.
that's because I'm there we go.
nice.
It bothers me that it's not encapsulated within that frame, but I totally understand.
Yeah.
Nice. I
You
like
should
this.
shrink it.
No.
You should
I can
shrink.
only see
No.
the fin. I want to see the rest of the word.
Okay. That just means that it's gonna be fucked from now on. Hold on.
Good.
Hold on. How do I duplicate a layer. Can't.
Would walk without rhythm to avoid.
I can't duplicate the layer, so there you go.
That's not how these ones work, bud. But I appreciate the Dune reference.
Ooh, okay. No, see, this was important to see because the way
There
it
we
comes
go.
out of the sand is really interesting. Is it like a fish and it uses the
Yeah.
sand as water?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's very
Um,
important to know because
Yes.
it's
so
not like an earthworm that.
every one of the ringlets around it on its body like vibrates,
Ooh,
which
okay.
just turns the sand into liquid around it, so it can
Yeah,
move through it as it vibrates.
interesting. Okay. Okay. And
What's up, Easy?
this is one of
It's
the
a worm, not
Hello,
leviathans
worm.
that
Easy.
were killed.
Exactly, Toko. That's exactly how it's spelled. And yes,
Yes.
this is one of the Leviathan.
Okay, but
This
it's
is
dead
one
now.
example. These are specifically not. They're one of the very few species of Leviathan that survive, and mostly because this thing's in a big fuck off desert
They're
and it's not worth chasing these down.
and they're a large dent was made in their population. They're
Mhm.
not feeling uppity anymore.
Okay. 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 So all of
And
that happened.
from time to time, one will get uppity and they'll put it down, and that just goes. It's a circle of life.
This is a circle of death.
Tyrion killed dragons,
Mhm.
and then the moot happened.
And
How do you
then
spell that so I know how to pronounce it?
Moot, moot.
Okay. Okay, so the moot happened. Uh, Political stuff starts to happen because that's where the like Federation papers or Declaration of Independence type stuff happens.
Yeah. So in the moot, they establish their political system and form of governance, which is a council of four, um, by election, though the
Election?
avatars.
Oh, that's
Well,
not
so
correct.
what's not correct?
Nothing.
It being election?
No, 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 no.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to change the
Okay.
image
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
other.
Gotcha. So I say election question mark because the avatars intend on it being populist vote for each of the strongholds in the newly established Imperium. One being Arcanus, one being Angelus. But the people insist that the avatars continue to lead them.
Yep.
Interesting.
And so they elect one additional member to that ruling council. And that's where we get Matthias, the advisor. And he is a kind of big up and coming political figure into Vinya's camp specifically.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So how does that affect everything? What does that change? What is the
that does some interesting things.
Okay.
First off, do you want to shoot that? You said okay.
Oh well, it seemed like the plot might have been a little bit lost, but so that is at the creation of the Imperium. So
Yeah.
when the moot happens, it effectively formally establishes the Imperium as a government structure. And while the people demand that the they're not called avatars yet,
No.
but the three most prominent figures in their society continue to lead them as they've already done so. Um, the avatars insist on a leader elected by the people, specifically so that they have a representative outside of themselves and their own immediate experience to be able to contextualize the needs of the people. Because while they are important and influential, they're also very involved in the things that they are doing. And they're also self-aware enough to realize that they can't do this job for them forever, and there needs to be, if this is going to be the beginning of a system of government, there needs to be a structure for being able to succeed them. So they set the precedent by having the fourth chair member be an elected position, and the people that the person that ends up getting voted for is somebody who's very strongly aligned with Tavinia's ideology of
Yeah.
um of being, I don't know, kind of cloistered, preservation of humanity at all costs, not taking a lot of huge risks. And while he sees this as an opportunity for him to finally, step up and start to lead and be a voice for the people, he soon finds that ultimately it's kind of difficult for him to step out of the shadow of the avatars, because they're always going to, their silence will always speak louder than his words. So that leads him to start trying to make moves politically outside of the avatars and that immediate circle, because of the fact that he has to try to find a way to establish himself beyond that. But that happens during the second age, because the ending of the first age is basically the establishment of the empire.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
With Arx Angelus and Arx Arcanus as its first two like strongholds.
Mm-hmm.
So moving into the second age, for those that don't know, this goes along with which album?
Right now, Noctum.
The second age is Noctum. Mortem will be out on the first, and that will be Matthias's story.
Okay. Okay, so going into the second age, what does that look like now? Now that Arcanus and Angelus are connected by the portal, not portals,
The gates.
by the lattice thing, yeah, the gates. And they now have a form of government and stuff. What's next? What, like,
Um
obviously it's not like the world's perfect and everything's good now.
so no but yes. They have hit a point of sustained survivability, and part of the establishing of the Imperium, which is something that everybody like across all political spectrums could agree on, was that the dark is still out there and humanity needs to be prepared.
Okay.
So the legacy needs to be prepared. And everybody we talked the last time about that cultural memory, but the
Yeah.
dark is something that is just they hold on to for the rest of forever. That what did Chaos say earlier, which was a fantastic, its true name is written in the scars of its survivors.
Yeah.
That's just such a baller ass quote, and since he said it didn't come from anything, I'm taking it. Never say it again. It's ours. Copyright Arx Tech LLC.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
God, he doesn't
That's
even
a
get any money for making the quote.
None.
Nothing.
He'll get a T-shirt when it's printed on one.
Still has to pay
he
20
knows
bucks for the t-shirt.
he knows how
He
he
pays
can
for
get
shipping.
paid. Chaos knows how he can monetize this already. He just needs to do it.
Let's keep Chaos's mouth out of this.
Oh my god. Z. There are children on YouTube.
There shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Kids,
say that.
put the tablet down. Turn the
Earmuffs.
TV off. Turn the
Earmuffs.
TV off.
You can't say
all right.
that. That's a Kendrick Lamar line.
I can say what I want. True story.
You can't say all the Kendrick Lamar lines. I promise you that.
You're 100% right. But that's because I don't want to.
Oh yeah. Okay.
See?
Anyways.
Boom. What was I answering? What was the question?
What's
right.
next?
What's next?
I feel like I've asked that like 100 times.
Pyrion and all of the like-minded individuals go and colonize Arcanus.
Uh-huh.
Rockwus starts trying to learn about this whole breath thing. Where the fuck does all this ambient magic come from? Why is it sometimes stronger and sometimes weaker? There's a lot of questions, and now he's afforded the opportunity to explore it academically.
A lot of what you find in the second age, is that it is functionally the golden age for humanity in our story. Because of the fact that we don't visit it often outside of these albums. It is a bygone memory of a time where everything was great and everything was fantastic, and people are constantly comparing.
The second age is their renaissance.
Mm-hmm, they're constantly comparing their lives after that to the times when the avatars were around, to the times where everything was being discovered and everything was optimistic and promising, and there was forward motion in both productivity and in production, in resource availability, in political in the ability of divisive political parties to still be able to
collaborate effectively, and work together peacefully.
Because there was this optimism that was the underlying foundation for a lot of trust. That
that whole you don't know the good old days when you're in them. This is them.
Yep.
Okay. So then, what causes the second age to end?
Oh, there's so much. Hold on, there's so much that happens in the second age. It's huge.
Okay, well, you made it sound like it wasn't worth going
No,
over.
no. It's probably like, so the first age is the genesis. It sets the setting, right? It gives us the foundation. It pours the concrete. And the second age builds the fucking house, does the lawn, trims the bushes, and throws in an in-ground pool.
Okay. Okay. So, give me a list of the highlights, and then we can go from there.
We can step through sections of it. Probably the easiest way to go about it. So, a small part of the second age is being told in the 4 Avatar albums, the Avatar's albums. And that's like a quarter of the second age, maybe.
Okay.
Unless I'm misrepresenting the technological leaps and the progression that happens in the second age.
No, second age is a lot, because by the time you get to the third age, all the good stuff is starting to fall apart.
Okay, so just to answer her original question before we start to walk through it, what is the point for you that ends the second age?
Me?
For me, it is the exodus of the avatars, whatever the fuck that is.
Oh no, for me it's the fall of the first empire.
Okay. So you see the second age continues after they leave.
Right.
Okay. All right, so now going backwards. So that answers that question. The fall of the first empire, which is established at the beginning of the Second Age.
Okay.
So that's when the Second Age ends. Do we have an estimate on how long that is, Z, in the text? Can you
In the
consult the sacred
sacred
text?
texts. Let me dig through the Elder Scrolls real quick.
At some point, I need to feed all of the text to Isom so I can just start asking Isom these questions
Mhm.
because he's getting real fucking good.
I
I'm gonna
don't.
replace you with a bot, Xeno.
Right. It's going to be very emotionally difficult for you to train a bot to call you a bitch, but it'll get there.
That's not true.
It'll
That
learn.
that's not true.
It'll learn the truth.
No. I mean, it won't be difficult for me to do that.
No. I don't appear to have it written down
is this is
anywhere.
this one of the ones we left fuzzy on purpose?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. So there are some um eras in throughout our history that we have left fuzzy on the timeline so that we can add more to it. It's like part of the narrative construct for it. So like we can add to it if we need to, if we want stories or plots to happen within the time frame of X era, we have room to space it out and add it there. So there's we don't do we have a floor for how long a minimum it is?
Yeah, it was I think at least 3,000 years. At least.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Second age, at least 3,000 years.
Okay. Okay. That yeah, then there must be a lot in there.
Yeah, just a little bit of history happens. Couple people born, couple people die, dates written down. You know.
So wait, how do the I know you've mentioned this before. How do the avatars live for that long?
Aha, ah. So because of the things that happen in the beginning of the second age, the avatars live that long.
Okay.
Um, First off, cradilic humanity. So any individuals who were born on the cradle, um, they just have longer lifespans. They had much better like medical care and sciences on the cradle than they have access to on Atrum um, for like a long time, and then it's in a very different direction. But so they just baseline have an extended lifespan. So
Okay.
like that first age does last a couple hundred years, but like so do most of the people.
Okay. That's insane to think about. Okay.
Yeah,
Um
like cradle humanity are Methuselahs.
Methuselah? I don't know that word.
Okay, Chaos. Z, you grab that one. That one's in your stadium. You play for that sport.
uh, Methuselah is a character from the Apocrypha. I think he might be largely written about in the Apocrypha. He's in the Bible as well.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
also
I
in the Bible.
I believe he's Moses' grandfather or something like
I think
that.
so. I think so.
But he lives a real fucking long time. I think an angel comes down and blesses him with long life specifically so that he can, I don't know, see things. But he's very famously known for living hundreds and hundreds of years. I believe is what the generally accepted timeline is.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so a credilic individual probably has a lifespan naturally of like 400 to 500 years. So
So
cradle
not
cradle humanity kind of elves.
Yep.
okay, you guys are causing me to That'll be a whole nother hyperfixation that I go into is learning about that. Thanks. Appreciate it. Um, okay, so what
Yeah,
in the
Enoch
second age?
didn't die. He just got different. Now you have to call him Transformer names. Fucking Metatron.
Uh, what in the second age causes them to live even longer than the credilic
Oh,
lifespan?
the avatars specifically. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. So I'm gonna have to go through a couple things, a couple major events, and I'll start on Rock's side of the fence, and then toss the ball over to you, Pyre, as shit gets bad for Rock because I need to reference what you do.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Totally
yeah,
not
yeah.
inputting self.
What?
I said totally not inputting self.
Oh, see, I don't put myself in Rock a lot, but I put Z in Pyre all the fucking time.
He does.
Um, it's real hard not to. And with Rock, I play a lot with his faults, and let's be real, I don't have any. Um, so it's hard to relate to Rockwest. He's full of faults.
I don't know. I've
Um,
seen that San Andreas one crack out as soon as you bend over to pick something up.
oh yeah, nice, nice, nice. Call me. Um, he's lying.
He's lying.
All right.
For the record. um, okay, so Rockwest leaves Angelus after the moot on a journey of academia, trying to get answers to the origin or source of ambient breath, which is just the magic everywhere. Um, in this exploration, he stumbles upon a location of geological activity called which he calls the Titan's Teeth. Um, fuck. Z, you can do pictures.
Ah, what was it called again?
No, just it's in our Discord, homie. Just
Yeah,
bring it up.
just fucking. I'm not gonna bring up our Discord, but I'm gonna look up the images.
No, show everybody.
No,
No,
they
don't do
don't.
that. Knowing what's in that Discord, don't do
Mm-mm.
that.
Mm-mm.
Fucking TOS immediately. All three people in this chat turned beet red.
All right, let's see.
Um, do art, man. Oh, do art, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So while he brings up that, nope, that's a fish.
I am aware. Where did this save to? Save image. Downloads. Ugh, fuck me.
Anyway, so Rock finds this location of high geological activity. Um, it looks real neat. There we go.
Oh, that's
There
interesting.
she blows.
It's called the Titan's Teeth and nothing else.
Yeah,
And nothing else?
and nothing else. I didn't steal it from real life at all. It doesn't exist in Madagascar. It's not called the Stone Forest. Don't look it up.
Okay.
This was a simulated phishing attack, and you passed, Rec. What?
I don't know.
What did I? I don't even know what I passed on. Anyway, okay.
This just means you
So,
have good intuition about phishing attacks.
oh my God, that's a fish. That's what I said
Oh.
about the sandworm. Never mind. I get it now. I get it. Okay, so Brock finds this location of high geological activity, notices a correlation between ambient breath levels and geological activity, and this God damn it! I need a better word than the word climax, but like that's where I was going with it. Yeah, we're going with it. Fuck it. This climaxes in a like what's it called when a geyser blows? Is it called
Jesus
blowing?
Christ.
What are you Jesus Christing?
Um,
Help!
you're okay. Okay.
Fucking help! I got frozen.
I'm not sure where you're trying to go, but if you're talking about
The event, the
the
vent,
event, yeah,
the
the
venting.
venting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a geyser eruption that
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
that leads to significant discovery from rock.
yeah. In that geyser eruption, there's a massive venting of breath, and it cooks a number of people alive in bad ways. It's a
Uh-oh.
bad death. It's a real bad death. Um, and in that event, he discovers a number of things, um, and that's referenced in fucking what track is that? I just want to I want to point that out. Burning Blue. Yeah, in Burning Blue. While people are like screaming and dying, he's focusing on the science of it and fascinated by what's happening. Because faulty guy.
Yeah.
Culminates. Try the word culminates. Thank you, chaos. It culminates in a geyser eruption. Thank you, chaos. See, the problem is that I have words that I think about these events in, and like that is a breath venting. That's a word I use, but what the fuck does that mean to the rest of chat or any people not living inside my head and inside this universe?
It
So I was
also
struggling to find a way to.
doesn't help that your autocomplete is super fucked.
Yeah, my autocomplete is also living with Pennywise.
In the gutter. For
Yeah,
anyone who didn't
did I?
catch that.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see.
Okay, so Rockwia sees this culmination
Yep.
of a geyser eruption.
Yep. And so he starts testing. He stays there. He's like, this place is neat. I'm staying the fuck here. We're doing science here. By the way, I saw some shimmery rocks whenever the eruption happened. I'm gonna send those back over to Pyre because it's interesting and Pyre does shit with rocks. Um,
Yep.
yeah, is the gist of that. I can go into much further detail. I can go into way too much detail, I'm sure. But uh he sits there and he just does a lot of tests there. But the thing is that each time he is near those eruptions, that venting of the breath, he's just being saturated with it. And that's where the whole breath is radiation thing comes into play because he starts to get real fucking sick.
Okay. Sick how?
Like he
His
does
skin
kick
starts to
flips, guitar
crack
solos.
starts to crack open, like sores forming on him. Um, his
Okay,
body
so
just
like
begins to break
cancer.
down from the outside in. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. But he lives
Um.
for thousands of years?
He gets
Question
better.
So yeah, it's literally a flesh wound. So going back to, I sent pretty rocks over to Pyre, or
Yeah.
Rock was. I did the thing. I did the thing. I self-inserted. My bad, y'all. Rockwest sent pretty rocks over to Pyrion. Z.
Okay. It's at that point that Pyrion does a little bit more science. This is fairly early in the first age, right? Because this is when
Wait, first
Second
age?
age.
or
Second age. Second
in
age.
the
Second
second
age.
age. Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is when it because that is Icolith, and that is when it's first being refined down into Ichor, right?
Um. Yes. 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 I'm
Okay.
getting words here for people.
So Icolith is the ore type material that's saturated with, or that is saturated with this strange, magically responsive substance. And Pyrion, being a material scientist, uh, does some does some experimentation and manages to refine just it manages to isolate the material that is responsive to breath. And that material is named Ichor,
Okay.
and it is a it operates as a sort of capacitor for magic. So when it's fully saturated with Atrium's breath, it's a bright red, and it slowly releases it unless you use it in controlled manners. And then once it's expended, it goes from that vibrant and deep red to a sort of pale bluish cyan color. Um, and this is used to kind of re-energize rune casting, because up until this point people would do very rudimentary magic by drawing shapes using bile, using the bile of magically saturated creatures. And when they would use their bile, it would work. It wouldn't be particular. It would have a limited potency, but it is how magical effects would be produced. Well, when Ichor is used, it produces a much more powerful and potent effect. So the discovery of this material is what causes a sort of revolution in rune casting, where much more powerful and complex spell effects are now possible, because you have a much more refined and pure form of this
The breath.
material that you could use as either as like an ink, or you could impregnate metals with it in order to make them more responsive. Like it just opens up a whole lot of possibilities where using the goo of an animal is a bit more restrictive.
Okay.
So yes, the ichor is identified to be catalytic dust when it is charged, and then once it is expended, it is identified as torpor powder. And that's just so that there's a distinction between these two states. But colloquially, it's known just as ichor, named after the
And
echolith that it is harvested from.
that's red or blue ichor, is something that is it might commonly be called, but not by academics.
Right.
Okay.
Just depending on whether or not it's charged and usable, or spent and inert. So this revolution in rune casting happens, and as part of Pyrion's research into the limits of rune casting, he starts creating indices of just stacks and stacks of runes, trying to see what he can get away with using the notes that Rockways has come up with. Because Rockways, at this point, gets kind of involved with the mathematics of the runic shapes, and there's a lot of theory and what's the extrapolation that he comes across, where there's hypothetical runes, there's the potential use of runes, but there up until this point hasn't been any kind of way to explore what those might do or be used like, because when you're working with goo, it's not potent enough to be able to do higher level runes. So once this material comes around, Pyrion takes a lot of those old notes and
Pause real quick. We have
yeah.
a question from chat. Chaos asks if humans can draw on and utilize breath naturally, or can they merely harness it through artifice? And the answer is no, humans explicitly cannot interact with breath naturally. It is foreign to their very nature.
Correct.
And
Um
that's because the world that Cradle was on did not naturally produce
Right.
magic.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
gathered it from the residual radiation from their sun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So the fauna of Atrum have this bile, and have their body is saturated with this material that allows them to interact with breath and use it as an extrasensory source. But humans don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So one of the things that ends up happening as Pyrian does a little bit more research into it is he starts decoupling the shapes of rune casting, which and casting is basically to create a shape out of a magically potent material in order to produce a spell effect. Because in this universe there's a sort of sacred geometry to magic that you can tap into in order to
Yeah.
produce spell effects. And it is the mathematics behind the sacred geometry that Rockwius does a lot of research into. Um, so Pyrion takes that and he starts trying to decouple the material aspect of rune casting with just the the geometric aspect of it, the shape and the effect, and starts experimenting with using runes to trigger other runes, and then that leads into him drawing runes on his body with this with Iker in order to be able to carry around at will runic activation that can then reference pre-existing or predefined runic results that he carries
And
around with him in like a spell book.
that's not just like, is that henna style or
Yeah.
engraved in you?
No, that's like henna style tattoos. So they stick around for a little while, but it's not a permanent marking on his
Right,
body.
right. I'm getting ahead. My
Yeah.
bad. Okay.
So
Yep.
like how in the Shadowhunter world they draw on runes to use as spells or protection or whatever later on.
What is wait,
I'm
what's
not
Shadowhunter?
yeah, I'm not
Oh
familiar with that
my, oh
unfortunately.
god. Me being a big reader. Shadowhunters, Cassandra Clare, YA type book. They draw runes onto themselves. Chaos. They draw runes onto themselves with their magic and stuff. Uh I I was just referencing it because it sounded familiar to that.
Gotcha.
Yep, we are unfamiliar, but that sounds similar.
Yeah, it does sound similar. If they're able to draw those runes on other surfaces, then it's it's pretty similar to that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in this case, they started with doing these on other surfaces. Because a lot of the time, it'd be very simple effects like make a fire or produce light or create water, stuff like that. And
Mhm.
a lot of that doesn't intuitively reason with, hey, I should keep this on my hand at all times so that I can
Yeah.
accidentally sneeze and explode myself. Um, but once the science gets refined to the point where the runes aren't just an outright spell effect, but can affect or augment other spell effects, then that's when you get much more complicated things. So the runes that he carries with him um, are both a means of being able to rune cast at will without the use of or without the constant need to draw the rune itself. But it also allows him to be able to maintain some ongoing effects, like things that allow him to be able to restore his body in combat and stuff like that.
Okay. That explains a little bit of your short story and how the main character was using his magic.
Her.
In that, oh, her. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how I missed
Oh,
that.
actually, it could be. I mean, there was two. There was the cleric who's male, and then there was Matea who's female.
That's fair.
I was definitely referencing Matea, and I'm not entirely sure how I missed that it's a female.
Gotcha.
That's fair.
Uh, I'll have to read back through it again.
Do it.
But
It's a good story.
it is. So okay, so that's how rune casting works, and that's how Rockaway is finding those rocks and then handing them to Perion.
Mhm.
Uh, so then they have rune casting. What
So
is
I'll pick that back up.
okay?
Um, so at this point, Rock and Pyre are just sharing like academic notes back and forth. Both of them pushing the edge of this of these new developing sciences, and they're pushing it at different points. With each of them bringing in their own expertise, like from the cradle and everything else they've done. So they're pushing it in different ways, but um, it's in one of these exchanges of information that Rock realizes the potential for the potential solution that Pyre has stumbled on with the glyphs. Wait, did you get the glyphs yet?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I stopped at drawing shit onto himself in case you wanted to to pick it up from there. But yeah, the
Okay. Okay, so we haven't gotten to glyphs yet, but what your that the henna ones are
mhm,
important because that inspires some people in Angelus, which leads to bad things. We'll put a pin in that.
right.
Um. Okay, then continue because I can't pick up until after glyphs.
Okay, so effectively, what's happening now is Pyrion is walking around with a spell book of predefined spell effects, uh, and imprints his body with runes that allow him to be able to interface with that spell book.
Hmm.
Um, which is all fine and dandy, but that's still kind of that's all still limited by the ichor. That's all still limited by the material that it's written in. So all of the tattoos have to be redrawn. All of the pages that he writes his specialized rune in have to have their material recharged carefully in order to not just go inert. Because if you write if you write a bunch of spell effects or spell work on a piece of paper in this material, eventually it's going to discharge, and you're going to have to recharge it. And recharging is a very very difficult thing to do in a controlled environment. So
Okay.
the next thing that he does is he starts messing around with what is effectively lumimancy. Lumimancy. I don't know. Um, light.
What?
Which is what? Okay.
In order to try to create shapes in the air, in order to try to create visual shapes out of light. And he manages to be able to create just a fun a fun hello world test image of an eye that he uses to mark a lot of his work. Um, and so he goes over to Rock and to show him the latest development, because up until this point, spell effects are pretty uncontrolled in the way that they look. But this shows that you can shape a spell effect to have a very specific geometry. And geometry is very important when it comes to both spell work and the expression of magic.
Okay.
Um, to which Rock notes that it's interesting, but wonders whether or not it can do anything else, because right now it's effectively just a picture. So Pyre goes back and meets the challenge with enthusiasm, and devises the creating runic shapes out of that magic to see if those spell effects can still be produced, whether or not, because up until now runes have been drawn either with red bile, which is charged bile, or with
Hmm.
catalytic dust, which is charged ichor. And that is the only way that spell effects have been able to be consistently produced. Um, but he manages to create a rune, the shape of a rune, using this controlled light shape, and that produces the first what is later to be called, or what is then defined as a glyph. It is a rune that is sustained by magic because it is not written in a a medium that can expire. It is written in magic, and the magic resonating from the world itself can sustain it if you create a rune that does not immediately uh use itself up.
Mm-hmm.
So this unlocks the ability for him to be able to create sustained runes. And that spellbook that he'd been carrying around with him, which was effectively a library of referenceable spell work, he turns into glyphs. So now everywhere, because this is all kind of localized just to the area that he's working in Arcanus, but now anybody who is within range of that of those glyphs, they too can make use of the pages of his spell work effectively by drawing runes that interface with them. The same runes that he has just kind of tattooed all over his body, somebody can just draw down on a piece of paper or on the floor or whatever in order to come to the same effect. And eventually, Pyrion renovates all the spell work that he has on him, all of the runes that he has drawn on himself with the temporary material, and he replaces those with glyphs so that he no longer has to recharge them or redraw them, and it allows him to be able to modify them later on. So now he's just able. He is living magic. He's walking around as an expression of this power that he's kind of built up out of nowhere, and people start to attribute the use of magic willy-nilly to him, which is
Okay.
what leads to him being seen in more deific ways later on down the road.
So
Right.
while we'll pause right there so that you can ask any questions that you want.
So glyphs are runes that are drawn in the air. Did I
The
get that right?
So you would the way that it would work is a glyph is a rune that is drawn with magic, but you have to create a rune to draw that rune out of magic. So you would draw you would the steps would be is using ichor and conventional rune materials. You would create the shape of this glyph as a spell
Mm-hmm.
effect. So you would cast power word the letter W, and then power word
Oh.
the letter W becomes the first part of a word written entirely out of magic, and then eventually um, you use those magic letters in order to cast a spell that only they can cast. Does that make sense?
Okay. That makes more sense. Okay. That was my only question.
Okay.
All right. So while Pyre is doing that, um, Rock is continuing the sciences over in the Titan's Teeth, where first off, those individuals that were horribly cooked by the eruption,
Mm-hmm.
they left something behind when they did.
We'll get to that, Chaos.
Can a glyph be dispelled, or are um yes, they can be dispelled, and most of them are actuated with an endpoint or cyclic.
So they can be eternal.
Yeah. That doesn't mean that the power in that cycle is eternal. But the spell is. Unless dispelled or the ambient magic gets turned off,
Right.
which isn't a thing. That's just a theoretical supposition, um, because it exists within the ambient magic. So I imagine if that is gone, it's gone, right?
Yes, and also that does happen at one
Yeah.
point.
Um, is that after?
That's before the avatars leave. That, or no, that's after the avatars leave.
Yeah, and that's during the Golden Crusade, right?
No.
Is it the battlefield? No.
No.
What?
No,
It's not Legion. Okay.
no, this is like, remember, floating towers don't get to exist. The conversation was specifically, there were floating towers used to exist all around Arcanus, and would be attributed to Pyrion's work, and this was part of the reason why he chose to leave, is so that people could claim their own.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so that they could
Right,
claim
right, right, right,
their
right,
own
right,
glories
right,
and
right.
whatnot. But later on down the line, there's geological activity which shutters the expression of breath, the ambient expression of breath in that area, and
Yeah.
all of the
Causes
floating
dead zones.
towers fall because they
Yep.
lost that enchantment.
That's fair. I forgot about that. That's so fucking neat. Okay, so going back, yeah, so those people who were horribly cooked left something behind, kind of an animated energy, a like a shadow, an imprint in the ambient breath.
To be
of
clear,
that
horribly cooked
location?
in the eruption at the
in the eruption.
Titan Steep.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So they
yeah,
left something behind.
yeah. An imprint, an animated imprint in the ambient breath, and Rock starts to explore the nature of whatever the fuck that is, which we call shades. Is there
Okay.
anything that I'm leaving out on the defining of a shade? See,
I mean, we have mechanical stuff that we can go into, but no, that's about it.
yeah, okay. Um, so Rockwis is like looking into this, and the more accidents that happen around the mines, because mines start to be built up where they're mining out the Icholith and sending that to Arcanus. But accidents happen, and when they do, more shades start to accumulate. Um, and Rockwis starts to work on harnessing that ambient energy and exploiting the animating potential of it, into little mechanized constructs at first, and starts working on what will eventually lead to golems. So a mechanized labor force
Mm-hmm.
that is run off of
Gates?
dead people.
Oh my lord. Okay.
Yeah, shades. Yeah.
So are these like fractions of souls that are left behind in the ambient magic that he
Soul-
is harnessing
Souls don't
to
exist.
For humans.
okay.
For humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um and
So
that's both a scientific fact for them, but also a point of pride. Humanity is perfect in form.
okay, so like
So like,
redheads.
what just happened?
Sorry.
I didn't hear.
Like redheads, how they're always really prideful on the fact that they don't have a soul.
I guess, I don't know. I don't know enough gingers.
Yeah.
Gingers in the
I guess.
chat. Are you? What are your thoughts?
Leave a comment down below, people on YouTube in the future. Boom.
Most
Boom.
fans are very
We're
happy
doing
to
it
tell you
now.
they don't
We're
have a
doing it
soul.
now.
If you have a soul, subscribe. If you don't have a soul and are okay with that, leave reasons why.
Leave
I
a
have a
comment
D&D
and
character
make
that could
sure you
really
hit
use
that,
that
that
info.
like button. So yeah. Humans don't have souls. It's and that is kind of a big way that they morally get past what they're doing with shades, because that's not a person.
Okay,
It's just not.
so then what is left behind that they are harnessing to turn into golems? What
When
is that
when
other
a
than a shape?
it's like it is like a psychic shadow
Shadow.
of
Yeah.
a person's last moment. So what ends up happening when a human is destroyed with a large amount of breath is their psyche gets kind of burned into the environment, and that psyche is just the burned outline of their psyche is made of just breath energy. So it kind of wanders around in the torturous final moments of its existence, reliving it forever.
Living nuke shadows. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm, okay. And so they harness this into golems,
Yeah.
mechanical golems. Uh, okay.
Because functionally speaking, they are an incredible source of power because that's what they're
Yep.
made of.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I have a soul, so the moral conundrum
If
is
you
what
don't
I'm stuck
listen
on.
to the screaming, it's
You
fine.
don't. Oh my god.
That's actually true. I mean, it's not audible screaming.
Is it
You
like,
definitely feel like you heard screaming, though.
Yeah.
oh, I don't like this. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, people don't like working with golems,
I imagine.
but golems get used as major labor forces throughout the entire empire, from like here moving forward until they inevitably lose their fucking minds and go murderous. But that's for another day.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a latest story.
Okay, let me just put that in notes.
Tur-
Murder golems?
Haunted Terminators question mark?
yeah, turns out warehouse is full of ghosts. That's not even false.
No. No, it's not.
um, chaos says metal.
Um,
Okay, so yeah, Rock is doing work with that, which is constantly re-exposing him to more and more breath, and dude's just getting fucked up, and suddenly gets very aware of the fact that he might die.
yeah.
Um,
Okay. So
and
he might
and
die.
then goes real esoteric with a lot of magic math that isn't important until much later. Because he's just like, well, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get all of this on paper. But then he sees what Pyre done did with all them glyphs all over him, and he's like, oh, holy shit, I can use that. And he takes that same format, um, and just kind of does it inside of his cracked skin, and like he tattoos that shit all over him and goes real hard on it.
Okay, Chaos. Talk to you soon, hopefully.
What?
Okay, have fun lurking.
Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate you. So that's what the Compositum Deus, or Deus Compositum. That's what that track is about him inscribing the glyph work onto himself. And this is not like Pyre's, where Pyre's is something that he can change, something he slips into and can remove. Um, Rock writes it onto himself. He essentially creates a physical trap for himself,
It's
because
like a
his body is falling apart, and so he writes a net around the entire thing.
it's like a people shaped phylactery.
Yeah.
So does he look like a human, or does he end up looking like a zombie?
No, he doesn't look like a zombie. So the way that it works out, it stains his skin with a deep shimmering, like between red and blue, so it gives it a purplish hue, and there's sparkles in those sores that is the runes actuating and firing constantly. So it makes him look akin to a night sky, which is where he gets the moniker of the Avatar of Night, and people start to associate him with the night because he looks like the night. Where Pyrion has the brilliant light around him constantly from his glyphs, and they start to associate him with the light or the day.
Okay, so they're just deifying themselves.
On
Got
accident,
it.
but yes. And also they hate it.
Yeah.
That's
And also
important. Anytime people are
they
like
hate
praise, they're like, stop. No. Respect yourself.
respect. Okay.
People are like, if not gods, why do God things? And
Why God shaped?
we hold out the user manual and say, you can do it too, here's how. And then they don't.
And then they
How,
don't.
how apotheosis? Have you checked the wiki? No.
Yeah,
Check
yeah.
the
Like
wiki.
they straight give the tools to everybody. It's not shit that they hold to themselves. They do start to hold some things to themselves later. This isn't that. And over the course of history, there are individuals who try to follow these paths, and those are stories that can be told at some point.
Kind of like the scientist for the second season of Arcane, body
I've
wise.
not gotten there. I just recently
Um,
started watching Arcane for the first time, and I have been blowing Xeno's text up the entire time I watch it because I'm just like, they fucking took it. They fucking took this.
um, if you're talking about when the character I'm gonna be real vague so that only you know what I'm talking about. If you're talking about the way the character looks while he's walking around, then no. But if you're talking about the way that the character is represented while they are acting in a more omnipotent capacity, then that is kind of what it looks like. Yes, but it's not because Rockwius is ascendant beyond, you know, his mortal form. It's more just the shape of the the body shaped vessel that he's created to contain himself ends up with this appearance, and all of the scars and the cracks that he had in his body are kind of retained like scars on the surface of this vessel
Yeah,
because you transformed your body into this vessel to contain you, not created a new one for you.
yeah.
Okay. Spoilers without spoilers. Got it. Okay. Um. Uh.
So it is in that the Deus Compositum, the casting that he puts upon himself that essentially turns him into a biological immortal. As long as nothing
Breaks the
bad
vessel.
happens to him, yeah, as long as nothing breaks that fine china, it's gonna last forever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that explains how Carrion and Rockwius become immortal, essentially.
Mhm.
Does Tavinia also become immortal, and or Matthias?
Stop laughing.
Okay, Matthias, that is a very, very interesting story. Um, but to answer the Divinia one, because we both laughed. We both laughed.
I
The
laughed knowing that you were gonna laugh. Fuck you.
Is this the
Divinia's a
whole
fucking
tree thing?
tree.
Yeah, this is
Divinia's
the
a
tree
fucking
thing.
tree. Divinia either became a tree or was eaten by a tree.
It no
Okay, I
is
want to hear
in a
Z
tree.
tell this story. I want to
Or
hear
is
Z tell this story because I know how you. I I at least can see how you'll jump once I hear the story, like how you jump to she is a tree. So I want to hear Z tell it.
Um, Tavinia focuses a lot on her apothecary medicines when she goes off and does her own research in Angelus in much later on down the line in an arcs of her own. Um,
Okay.
what she does in her early research is a lot of uh, transhumanist body modification stuff. So not only is it the grafting of uh, of organs or body parts that might not be native to you, in order to be able to give you a better resistance to like a toxin or whatever, you might be grafted a special organ. But it's also the tinctures and medicines needed to be able to heal yourself or to resist disease or to allow your body to better accept foreign entities like that as in like an immunodepressant. Um,
Okay.
so it's a lot of biological research, and as you fast forward in time, and she establishes her own arcs on the other side of the spine of the world in this crazy lush and feral forest.
yo,
Um,
perfect moment to bring up the map.
He's like, I have to do art things
I'm
again.
doodling. God damn it!
That's fine.
All right, but you're right. Map that I didn't make or get much of a say in the shape of where are you hanging out.
Uh-huh. I'm a bully, I'm a bully. I'm a bully.
Whatever. Good enough. Oh.
We don't need to go into the perfectly coordinated symbiosis that we have as far as work collaboration goes.
Okay, so the spine of the world is where did V2 Studio go? Yeah, spine of the world's over here, and this
That's real
is
small.
huh?
There we go. Okay,
Yeah,
never
yeah.
mind.
Yep.
This is a chain of mountains that kind of separates the landmass on the far east side of the continent, and
Hmm.
because of that, there's a huge I think the term is a rain shadow, a huge rain shadow on the other side of the mountains, but
Yep.
it keeps a ton of water and vegetation on the eastern side. So um in order to better explore the native fauna of
Pause real quick. I have to say thank you. Because your explanation now is my argument for why we adopted this, and I just appreciate that coming from you.
where we adopted what.
This map, because I designed this map specifically for like trying to make geological explanations for the weather patterns in different biomes we had established, and that was the major argument I used when I pitched this at you and bullied you into adopting this as our actual map.
Yeah, I had sketched out a rough here there be
Yeah.
dragons map, and you came up with something a little bit more meaty, so we went with yours.
God damn, you had to zoom in at me and
Hmm.
just stare into my soul when you said that.
Yes.
Thank you.
um all right, so Tavinia establishes her arcs arborist with the explicit intention to continue her research un unmitigated by the uh, insufferable ideologies that Pyrion has continued to perpetuate in the Empire, insufferable to her. Um, and decides, "Fuck y'all! I'm gonna take my ball and go over here and play with plants and see what's going on. See if I can find a solution to humans' need to survive through guided evolution and through transhumanist physiology." And part of that research ends in the discovery of a very specific and special type of fungus that can only be found here. And that fungus both extends the life of its symbiote, but also kind of the mycelial structure that it leaves in the body kind of makes it rough and uh, dry and flaky and cracked. Um, but it's the basis that she uses in order to try to find a more lasting and body friendly form of uh, life extension. And
Mhm.
the end result is it becomes dramatically more potent the more you introduce yourself to it, but you also become a lot more affected by the fungus, not mentally but physically. So you look a lot more like a tree person at the end of the day, or at least like a wood person at the end of the day. The more of this that you introduce into yourself, um,
Yeah.
and along with the super wet environment and the humid air, you just end up collecting moss, and uh, that becomes something of a point of not pride, but cultural identity for them, is to just kind of have shit growing on them, to the point where they end up kind of looking like dryads. And
That's awesome.
Tavinia being both cradle born and the forefront to any of these radically experimental sciences, is the most affected by all of this. And um, it is later on down the line that the the place that she ends up, where the other two avatars, Pyrion and Rockways, have disappeared. Um, she is still present in the remains of her tree, but the mycelial growth of her body has extended to the the dead body of that tree, and she's effectively just a petrified uh, extension of it, either parasitically alive or as a remnant of what she once was. But we haven't quite decided what we want the end of the story for her to be. Whether or not we want it to end there or we want to continue it. But as far as we've written out for her, um,
Yeah.
she lives forever as a part of that tree. The ongoing
And,
joke
and
being she got eaten by a tree.
important clarification, by the way. When Tavinia first leaves Angelus in the Second Age, she goes to found the Priory, which is in the spine of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Arx Arboris doesn't happen for hundreds, if not thousands, of years.
Yeah, it's way later on down the line.
Okay. Well, we at least have the main three talked about. I think because we've been going for 2.5 hours and talking about Matthias and what happens after Rock and Pyrion and stuff would be a good place to start for the next one. Um, we should probably close things up.
Okay.
I know you two can talk about this for hours, and I am just as much interested in it, but it has been 2.5
Yeah,
hours.
that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Z, are you gonna continue streaming something else or no?
Mm, probably, yeah. I might do a little bit more drawing here.
Okay, I think I'm gonna raid out to you then. Charm, thank you for once again mediating this and coming with all of your questions and your point of view. You really help steer the course of this river that wants to do nothing else other than sprawl out into a delta. Um, so thank you.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys letting me. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. You're a great nucleation point for a lot of the questions that naturally come up from all the stuff that we don't explain or that might want to be explained.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I'm glad I can do that. Um, you guys have a wonderful night.
You too.
Uh,
Appreciate that. You too.
Did it?
okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Did it do the cool raid animation for you?
I don't know. Haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is.
I'll see it in a moment, I think. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to catch you later.
Toodles.
Thank you again.
Mm-hmm. Always a pleasure. For anybody who jumped over to my stream from Rex, I'm going to be doing a little bit more of the painting here for this animation. The animation that I'm working on here is going to be for a follow animation, a little reminder for anybody who might not be following to go ahead and improve their lives by making that choice. The intention here is it's going to be a small parade of people that pop up from the bottom of the screen and then walk off to the side. So now that I've got the outline going here, I'm starting to color it in so that it looks a little prettier. And then I'll go on and add their little details because the procession's gonna have some fun items held in hand as they walk by. I haven't done a whole lot of animating in Photoshop, and it's not the best tool for it. But I am having fun with the limited capacity that it does have. Uh-oh. I am looking into alternative software though, just because this one's kind of a lot. There's a lot of unintuitive aspects to the way that you animate in Photoshop, and having something that's a little more streamlined for it, I think would probably service a lot better. But it's good enough for now. It's what I've done all my other animations in. The cool transition animation that I got going on with all the eyeballs, that was done in Photoshop. The little raid animation that you would have just seen, that one was also done in Photoshop. Same with my follow and subscribe alerts. Ooh, Blackbird, I didn't see your follow. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the follow. Here, let me go ahead and I think I can trigger it again. Can I? Oh no. It's not gonna let me. Maybe there's a stream elements thing I can set off. Let's see. Ducks. Stream elements. Yeah, here we go. Live import event emulator. No, I don't want an emulator. I want the activity feed. I remember seeing an activity feed. I just don't know where the heck it went. Set up bot and tipping, browse overlays. Well, that's disappointing stream elements. Let's see. Maybe this will play the most recent one. Nope. it didn't even do that. All right. But I do see that you did follow Blackbird Blue, and I do appreciate it. Even if I was a bit distracted at the time. Go. Let's clean up a lot of this color. It's. I wish I had a Wacom tablet in times like this because it just seems like it would be way more convenient to have that dedicated tool, so I don't have to keep using my mouse. It does kind of cramp my wrists a little bit, especially when I have to do a lot of effectively repainting the same stuff. Because in animation, you're using a lot of very similar frames, so it's always similar but not quite. So I got to do a lot of cleaning up around these edges. There we go. Ah, oh no, oh no. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Not looking forward to shading these because that's going to be a little bit more of a struggle for me. One of the things I have a little bit of trouble on is frame by frame animation, just because you have to be really consistent with where your lines are and where they're moving to. And you can use stuff like onion skin settings to see where the lines in your last frame were, to get a better idea of where to put your next one. But I'm not good at it. I'm not particularly good at it. So doing shading and having to be meticulous about where the folds of the fabric are and stuff like that is going to be a challenge for me to make it look clean. I'm not looking forward to that. But for now, I get to enjoy the simplicity of coloring in the lines. Join me as we time travel back to kindergarten. Ah. I have a Surface Pro, like an old 2017 Surface Pro that I do all these drawings on, but it's not quite powerful enough to be able to run Photoshop's animating tool in any capacity. It just kind of chugs and then stalls and then crashes. Otherwise, I'd probably be doing this on that, because there I get the pen. And while a Wacom it is not, it is much better than having to do this with my stupid mouse. This reminds me a lot of painting Warhammer models, because when you're painting like different like plates of armor or details that have drastically different base colors, you can kind of overshoot one if you haven't gotten to the other one. And then if you're painting the other color next to it and you accidentally go over the line, you end up playing tug of war where you're cleaning up the line back and forth with the two different paints. So it seems to evoke a lot of the same feeling for me, where I'm just kind of like, okay, I can overdraw this, and then it'll take care of all of that color, and then I just clean it up again. Although at the end of the day, I don't get to fight these drawings against each other, which is an advantage that Warhammer figures have. Is you then get to play toy soldiers. Let's see. Oh, I should update the description. There we go. And then I think just chatting is probably fine. I don't think drawing is a... Yeah, drawing isn't really a category. So we'll stick to just chatting. Oh man, just dance is an option. I don't think I'd ever be brave enough to do just dance to an audience of Twitch viewers. I'd probably do Rock Band though. Rock Band would be fun. Like a really crap virtual concert. All right, is that good? Is that fine? Can I? No, I can't really do a background to check because of all the stupid timeline layer nonsense that I have to respect for Photoshop. Here's a bit I missed. Okay. All right, I think that's it for this frame. Which means there's only one left. Oh no, that's the last one. Oh, well, fuck me. I didn't need to do that one. Okay. So now we can do a lot of copying, which means we don't need to copy that one. We can just do this and go here. Yeah. What is happening? Do I need to copy it? Oh no, I have an extra frame that I don't need. Okay, so let's clean this up then. Because we don't need the first frame repeated at the end of the animation sequence. Let's just go ahead and kill that. And undo the last 5 minutes of work. There we go. So then this should just repeat this. Yeah, that's much better. Cool. Now just paste this a few times. Weird. Let's trim you down. And then do the same thing to the colored frames down at the bottom. Only this time I'm going to be more intelligent about my copying and pasting. Yes. All right. Ah, fucked it. I fucked it. What happened? What is going on here? Okay, that's fine. Why did you move? There we go. Goddamn color layers are moving on me. All right. I think it finally got it out of its system. Cool. Now these can die. What the fuck is that? Why are we missing one? Did I did I not finish one of these frames? Am I dumb? Oh no. I don't quite understand. Oh, I do now. This red is not on that bottom layer. So let's do this. This. Copy. And just delete it. Yeah. Now let's grab all of it. Let's grab the gold, the red. Don't need the belt. We do need the shoe. We'll cut it and then we'll paste it. Uh-oh. Annoying. See, this is what I mean by Photoshop's real stupid when it comes to animation. All right. We'll just copy the red. Then we'll hopefully paste the correct color. Christ. Let's do that. No, that's the wrong one. Yeah, that's the right one. Is that the right color? Yeah, it is the right color. All right, let's go back here. Grab the gold. I said grab the... you bitch. Grab the gold. There we go. And we'll isolate it. And instead of trying to copy and paste across multiple frames, or across a different video group, I'll just use the outline or the selection in order to fill. I just got to do a little bit of cleanup. Just a tiny bit, because selections are real gross. There we go. Clean up the shoe. With a paintbrush, not an eraser. There we go. And the belt was fine from the beginning. So now let's just clean up that top layer. Delete all the colored bits. Actually, I could just do Control A because I don't actually want anything there. That is going to be repurposed as the shading layer. So I don't want anything on there right now. So now when I copy these base color layers over, God willing, there we go. Now paste correctly. It isn't the consequences of my own actions. All right. Now we copy it over again. There we go. Trim off the bit we don't need. I fucked the last ones. Yep. All right. Are you guys fine? You guys are fine. There we go. Unfucked. Now we can... nope. Got to do a shift control paste. Otherwise, it just pastes wherever the hell it feels like it. There we go. That's much better. Zoom out and look at the fruits of our labor. Oh my God, play. Oh, much better. Okay. Okay. Now the annoying part. Just need to divide these layers for the shading layers. I think that's it. I don't need the rest of this. There we go. No, damn you. I just want to rename you. There we go. Color shading layer. Base color layer. Cool. I'm effectively using the video groups as super layers. I don't know if that's how you're intended to use them, but that's what we're doing. Oh, I actually need to copy this twice because the leg needs to go back and forth. So this left leg is in the back and then it swings forward and then it's got to come back over. So we got to copy this over, paste it once because we'll need all of these as individual shaded layers. Cool. All right, here we can do white and darker gray. The reason I went with a gray for the robe was so that I could use white as a highlight color. Because if the robes are white, I can't highlight with whiter white. We've yet to invent a whiter white. I'm sure Clorox is on it though. All right, so we said the leg is facing the back. I guess we'll use the pen tool for this. Do something like this. Son of a bitch. The absence of a stylus. I have to make use of the pen tool. Which can get me partway there. It's just way less convenient. All right, and then I think we just got to go here. So as to not overpaint onto the other colors. I also need to make sure I don't drag the damn mouse when I'm clicking so I don't start extending the Bezier handles. Like that. All right, that's good enough. Phil. Well, it's not a bad starting place. I'm not super happy with it, but it's not a bad starting place. I think maybe a little that to start with. A little bit of that. So we can get the shadow from the arm. Let's do a little more. Throw more of a curve into it too. Okay. I feel like this bit right here might be a bit extraneous, so I'm going to get rid of it. Make selection. Let's clean this out. Not happy with that. All right. That should look much better. What if there's a little bit of a wrinkle here? And I cleaned up the other one, but at least this way I can do something like this. Nope, I want a selection. Yeah. Yeah, it's much better. All right, over here, I don't, well, maybe a little bit. Might have a little bit of that highlight wrinkle. Selection, delete. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I just need to clean up this. All right, let's go up the sleeve. I want that. There we go. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I feel like this would have a little bit of a shadow to it as well. It looks like a really deep wrinkle. to do it myself, but there. And then I know we want something here. I feel like I'm adjacent to something that I want, but not at it. Because I kind of feel like I need something like that. Maybe. But that definitely seems like too much. So I was trying to do something like this. That seems a lot better. Let's try that. That I don't like. Can't figure out why I don't like it though. I just want to connect the whole thing. No. Let's sketch it out again. Maybe what I want is this. With a little bit of that. A little you know, just one of these. Maybe a little of that. You know what? Uh-oh. Let's start on the upper part of the arm. See how the lower part of the arm feels. I do like that. I like that one. So maybe let's try cleaning this up again for the millionth time. And then like a big teardrop shape. The big wonky base down here. It could be worse. It could definitely be better, but it could be worse. Let's trim away. I see an opportunity. I'm going to try to take it. Okay. Kind of getting somewhere. I feel like we're kind of getting somewhere. Maybe this needs to be a little more steep. That's way too much. What if I follow this fold? It's not bad, but I don't like it. Not a fan. I like that. That doesn't solve my problem, but I like that. So maybe the reason this looks weird is because I have this fold down here and I know that it's going to go up. So if this is this fold, maybe that means there's a shadow right here. Ooh, I like that a lot. I like that a lot more anyways. Let's clean this up. Okay. Make selection. I think I'm happier with that. I'm happier with that. Maybe I clean this up so we don't have this bit of shadow going over. I was thinking this shadow would imply a further shadow going further up the crease, but really all it's doing is just kind of standing out. So maybe we just get rid of it. Ooh, I do not like that. I do not like what it did to it. So maybe we need to make it go further up. Let's see if that's enough. That doesn't look like enough. Go here. Ah. Oh, okay, the loop's closed. I was just getting rid of that anchor. All right. I think that's fine. But is fine good enough? What happens if I do this? Let's take it too far so that we can ease back and at least know where our limit is. Not a great philosophy when it comes to interpersonal relationships, but very good when you're trying to eyeball something. Okay, that's too far. We now know that that's too far. But we might be able to make use of it. Maybe there's aspects of this that aren't too bad. What happens if we just pull it back a little like that? Oh, what happens is I immediately hate it. So let's just undo that. And now I have a much better appreciation for this shape. And I'm much more okay with it. Now that I've seen what the alternative looks like. Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Can I clean up this line? I'm hoping I can. Where are we? I'm on the right thing. Oh, this is a smart object deeper yet. Edit contents. Fucking hell. Dot top half. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Save that. Well, it's better. That might not have been worth it, but it's better. All right, so now the hood. I think the hood we can pretty safely just kind of do one of these. Yeah. And then just sweep over the shoulder. And grab the whole underside. Fill. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I feel like maybe more of the top half of this fold needs to be exposed. So we'll just we'll tease that line up a little bit. Like that. That's a nice curve. Maybe not nice enough. There. That should do it. Now for you, I guess it looks like we do need some lighting on the top of this fold as well. Bring you down like that. Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with this. And then, actually, I'm not fine with it. There, I think I want the top of this here to line up with the shadow. That way I don't feel the need to also do like shading over here as well. Although this can probably benefit from a little bit on the bottom side of the front of the hood. So we'll just add a little shadow there. These are some pretty ambitious shadows because the more that I do, the more I'm going to have to reproduce across all the other frames, which means it's going to be a bigger pain in the ass to keep them all coherent over the course of the frames moving. Ooh, that's a nice implicit line. Okay. I'm pretty fine with that. All right. And then one more to this guy. Big blobby shape like that. That should work. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. That does all of the white. I haven't done any highlights. These have all been lowlights. Fuck. Okay. Maybe. Maybe I don't want to do highlights. Highlights would be a pain in the ass. I guess that means... Uh-oh. Can you not? Oh my god, go away. Okay. That does mean that I could turn all of this gray into white. I probably have to lighten up the shadow gray. That's okay. I'm okay with doing that. Why can't I invert the selection? Ugh, fine. Is that fine? It's a little too light. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh man, those edges are fucking rough. Where the hell is this layer? I haven't done any other colors yet, so I could just do a layer style. Fuck am I looking for? Color overlay. Yeah, all right. Let's apply that. Oh no, that means all of these other frames are gonna have to have their shit whitened. I'm gonna have to bleach the robe. I don't want to bleach. I don't want to bleach the robe. God damn it. God damn it. Okay. Let's take it one at a time. We'll take it one frame at a time. We have some shading to do on this. So let's eyedropper the red. This one can be simple. I'll just do one of these. Not even gonna fuck with the pen tool here. That looks good. This whole back one probably wants to be dark. Which means we need to find a darker gold. Not a blue. And not do that. Yeah, just do that. Okay. Bring that back up. I like that. I'm really happy with that. Oh, shoot. Shoo. Let's ease the shadow in a little more. There we go. That's much better. Okay. That's the first frame done. Kill me. Looks like there's some cleaning to do on some of these base layers. Okay. That would be on the first one. All right. All right. All right. That's fine. That's fine. The hell is this? No. Don't need random extraneous bits. Oh, God. I think here's where we're going to really need those onion skins. We'll do no frames after. And so since we're not doing shading of multiple colors, I don't have to worry about values. Huh. Looks like a lot of these can just be straight up copied. See what happens if I paste it over here. And then move it. Ah, okay. I don't like what's happening here, or what's happening. Okay. All move. Let's relocate large shadows. I wish I could nudge. Can't really do any nudging because the timeline shit takes over. All right. That at least means that the upper body is fine. Relatively speaking. Where are my onion skins? Why can't I see the... There we go. Okay. I was one frame after. All right, so we want to clean up all the shading down here now, because none of this is usable. All right, let's go back to the onion skin so we have a reference. Pull out the pen tool. That fold fell. So we might have one of these. That's about it. There we go. There's going to be a lot of experimentation when it comes to these folds here. I have a suspicion that it's going to end up looking a lot like this. Fuck me. Okay. Let's try that again. Fill. All right. How does that look? Not spectacular. It's a good starting place, but it's not spectacular. Maybe that whole thing is fucked. Maybe there's always supposed to be something down there. So we'll do that. Okay. And now, when we go over here, we can do this. And not have it look so out of place. Okay. I mean, I'm happier with the way that looks. Let's ease out the curve on this shadow. Not a huge fan of that. Okay, maybe I'm more of a fan of that. I just need to do a little bit of a cut here. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's do the shading on this guy right here. It looks like it was higher and it moved further down. So let's move the shadow a little further down. We'll use a lasso for this. We'll need to grab that dark gold after we make the selection too. Okay. All right, and then I think this guy was mostly covered. I think that's going to be less true in this part of the walk cycle, but still pretty covered. Let's do that, and then continue the shadow over the gold. Why do the shadows look so dark? Or why does the red look so dark? Is that the onion? I think that's the onion. Yeah, that was the onion skin. I'm fine with that. That looks okay. All right, that's good. That's good. So I'm gonna have to bleach the robe every time I advance in the walk cycle, but that's okay. That's a relatively quick fix. Outside of that, it's just kind of meticulous. But I'm at 2 hour mark. I've been recording for about 3.5 hours here. I'm gonna call it a night and see if there isn't anybody that we can raid out to. Let's take a look around. Twitch raid. What do we have for drawing? Thanks, Chaos. Appreciate you popping up here at the end. I don't know if you just now showed up, But here, let me show you the progress that I've made on the animation. I have 2 colored frames. All the other ones have some base colors on them, but I have 2 of them finished. Oh yes, we getting somewhere. Oh yes. How was the housework? Was it worky? Are you finally free of your slave labor? A bit. I should be fully free soon. That's awesome. I'm not really seeing anyone to raid out to. So let's just go ahead and call it. Thank you guys for showing up. Then it's gaming time for me finally. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm going to get something to eat and then see where the night takes me. I am pretty heckin' tired now. But I will be back tomorrow on Wednesday. And I think probably doing a little more Minecraft to wrap up the front of the building and the immediately surrounding area. And then we'll see where Friday takes us. Well, that's the plan for now. So I will see you guys tomorrow. You specifically, Chaos. I will see you. I will see you. Whether you're here or not. I have many devices. All right. Bye. Bye.